Hello. We continue to explore daytime lighting setups. To reinforce your knowledge, let's change the location. The main feature of this location is the large windows. If in the previous kitchen location we had only one window that provided little light, and the rest of the room was quite dark, in this case, we have a large location with big windows that we do not cover with curtains, and now we will be creating the image in a lower key. If your location has fairly good natural lighting, you should definitely take advantage of it. Before setting up our lighting scheme, let's take a look at the location and see what we can do with it. Thanks to the large windows, our location has decent fill light, but due to the cloudy weather, the sun isn't coming through the windows. The main character is quite dark and will definitely need to be lit. So the first thing we do is go to the balcony and set up the aperture 600D Pro with a Fresnel lens. This light in our case will be the key and will work as an imitation of a sunbeam, breaking through the trees and hitting the location. The second device we set up is the aperture 300D with a spotlight, and it will work for us in the background, again simulating a beam of sunlight. We direct it at the nightstand and trim the beam with barn doors so that it looks like a beam coming through the window and forming a characteristic pattern. Now the location looks as if the sun is shining through the trees. But the main character still looks dark from the camera's side. For this, we will use foam and the aperture 300D with a Fresnel lens. In this case, the foam will simulate the reflection of our sunlight from the walls or floor. We place the foam quite low, near the floor, and our device above this foam, working from top to bottom. It is important to remember that with this setup, you do not need to light your foam at maximum power. This will result in unrealistic lighting on your main character. For better control over the image, we add black fabric as negative fill. This will give us control over the light and create a smooth transition on the model's face from the harsher beam from the window, and our foam, which works from floor level. In our wide shot, we had to move our equipment, which works with the foam, quite far back, and accordingly, the foam itself. We did this to ensure that neither the stands nor the equipment would appear in the frame. However, for closer shots, we have the opportunity to bring our setup, foam, and equipment closer to the model. By moving our equipment and foam closer to the main character, we were able to achieve softer light on her face. An important element of our scene is filling the location with smoke. We used a smoke machine specifically to increase the volume in the frame. When you fill your location with smoke, and have, for example, beams of light from the window like we do, they become more defined, the image becomes softer, the shadows become lighter, and overall your shot becomes more cinematic, depending on the size and angle of your shot. It is perfectly normal to adjust the position of your equipment by a small angle. For example, on the balcony, we moved our key light so that it wouldn't appear in the frame. Similarly, the foam with the device working in it periodically changes its position. This is done to achieve a more advantageous image. For example, in a wide shot from this angle, the face will look three-dimensional, but if you change the angle, the image may become flatter. Accordingly, if you change the position of your equipment, and your setup remains intact, then it is completely normal. So let's go through step by step what we did in this location. First of all, we set up our key light. In this case, it's the aperture 600D Pro, which is working from the balcony, with a Fresnel lens, and it acts as a hard beam of sunlight. The second step was working on our background, and this involved using the aperture 300D with a spotlight attachment to increase the exposure on our heroine's face. We used the aperture 300D with a Fresnel lens, which works from top to bottom into the foam on a C-stand. For better control over excess light on location, and to create additional depth, we used black fabric for negative fill. We also used a smoke machine to add volume to our frame, soften the shadows, and highlight the beams. Use different setups and practice more. And remember, to create a great quality image, you don't necessarily need a ton of light.